Welcome to round 23 of the Scrabble Players Championship 2026. We have a rematch here on our hands. We have already seen this matchup on stream, but it is the top matchup, a very, very relevant pairing. Joey Krafchick versus Joey Mallick. Joey Krafchick still with the tie. So we were talking about how important it was for Joey Mallick to have gathered a ton of point differential in that last victory over Sam Kaplan, but Joey Krafchick doesn't care about that because he is in between wins and losses. Can you talk a little bit about that, Kenji?
Yeah, when you have a tie, you all of a sudden can make spread decisions where you could just throw spread completely to the wind. Joey does not care about losing a game by 300. If he can eke out 1%, or even 1/10 of 1% out of a game that looks lost, he's going to do it. Joey's actually at this point, especially with these standings, I think the magic line is going to be 9 losses. I think the highest spread with 9 losses is probably going to make finals. But if you don't have, if you obviously have less than 9 losses, I think you're going to make it in for sure. So Joey's kind of at this weird place that's right next to the line, where I think if he only loses one more game, I think he's almost definitely in. And I think if he loses 2 more games, I think he's definitely out. Because he kind of has that magic, spread doesn't matter. So he's always going to be ahead of all the 9 losses, and he's always going to be, behind all the 8 losses, which is a good thing when he has a spread that's 462 at this point. Joey with, I don't know what the last tile is, the ING combo.
GHILNNS. Sorry.
It's an S. Okay.
Sorry. So he's considering exchanging the N and the H, keeping sling. You could also just play NIGH, which might be a little bit more standard just to score 16 points. But I like this decision. I like opening exchanges.
Yeah, he could also exchange the L instead and keep SHING. I don't really know off the top of my head what the equities of those are. I imagine that that's at least pretty close.
So this just in, Mac Meller won his game against Ori Swift 367 to 345. So just an update on the standings while Joey Mallick deals with this 3-0 rack and probably playing ooh for foo. Ori Swift is 2 games now behind Joey Mallick, but still in second place because Jason Lee also lost his game. So Ori Swift at 15-7, Jason Lee at 15-7, Mac Meller at 15-7, Joey Krafchick now in 5th place, Evan Chester in 6th, and Chloe Fatsis in 7th. So those are pretty much the people, other than Rafi Stern, that are likely to make the finals should they only lose one more game.
Yeah.
Oof coming down for 12, Joey Krafchick drawing a U and a V. And he's probably just going to play Love and Loof without much further ado.
Yeah. I don't really see any other options. Oh, Vug, I guess, and Goof, or Gov and Goof. I guess those are actually options as well.
Yeah, so Gov or Vug for 2 more points, but again, keeping that ING together, hoping that that is a better situation for you. Drawing 3 tiles. Joey Mallick with 3 Rs now. Seems like he's loving the triplicates over there, but no E for armorers. So he's going to have to do something differently. He has a word that he possibly might have missed in a previous matchup, MURR, through the U in love to get rid of 2 of the 3 Rs.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine he'd play Mura instead of Mur. He can also play something like Aura, making aloof. That's also an option. Yeah, just anything that gets rid of 2 Rs, I think, is fine here. There's not really much technically. I think that, well, I don't know if Joey knows if Joey Mallick knows that Joey Krafchick has an S yet. So I think that there may actually be some idea of playing Mur here because you don't necessarily want to keep lines open when you don't know if your opponent necessarily has an S.
So Mura coming down for 20. Armor and Lufa was 21, just to get rid of that O and score 1 extra point. But that's a little bit more open of a play. So Mura keeping things really tight, playing through the 2 plays already on the board. Like this decision for Joey Mallick and for Joey Krafchick to SING. He's drawn KT blank. A very, very good draw for him. Maybe he wanted the blank later, but he can be happy with
This is going to be devastating because this is going to give Joey horizons. This is going to be a huge swing. This is like, there are different choices that he had that many of which did not hang this eye. Difficult decision here. I would have definitely taken more time. I'm not really sure what I would have done in this spot.
This is 5 more points than skating, skiting, something with loves. And in terms of the benefit for the board, this is a little bit more open, but I don't think you're getting away from the 5 extra points this early in the game if you're Joey Krafchick, but it's going to give Joey Mallick the perfect letter for his 7. And will he see the bingo of horizons? It's almost like a too good to be true moment. I feel like if he sees it, it's going to pop. He's going to pop up and play it very, very quickly, but nothing yet for Joey Mallick. So a little bit of concern early on in this turn. There you go. See, he didn't see it. And when he started moving his tiles, immediately horizons, beautiful. That is 88 for Joey Mallick.
Yeah,
and
huge swing.
Huge swing, like you said. There's the cue for Krafchick. There's a lot of places to play the cue. None of them are so amazing from what I can see. But Kaid maybe under the HO of Horizons is a decent way. But KD and TI probably what we're going to see here, despite the big opening that cue would create.
Yeah. Joey joining Tartar, which is going to play in several spots.
Wow. Maybe KD and HI, actually. I don't know why that didn't pop into my head, but I'm sure it's going to pop into Joey Krafchick's head. 33 points for that, taking a small lead, but after Tartar and TE, potentially to the right of tasking, we'll have to see what Joey Krafchick draws. That's a good leave. IST could turn into a lot of good stuff. Might see a shootout here, Kenji.
Yeah, potentially. Especially if Tartar and TE comes down, which I think is the only thing he has, right?
That is, yes. So there's an E, a D, an M, and another E for Joey Krafchick. That looks pretty good. Side meet mediates through an A.
Dementes, which is probably going to play. Almost certainly going to play.
Yeah, Joey Mallick going to play Tartar at some point. Of course, Tartars is not a word. If you're a foodie, you know why. Tartar is an adjective.
There are a lot of words like that are of food words that are usually adjectives that are not in Scrabble. So I can see how if you're a foodie, you might not necessarily subscribe to that logic.
And Joey Mallick, not a foodie himself, as far as I'm aware, but he really, really loves Scrabble statistics and The Simpsons. Those are, and puns. That's basically Joey Mallick in a nutshell. A very wholesome guy. He's always talking about historical data in Scrabble, Simpsons moments, making puns out of words, gathering references from 20, 30 years ago that nobody really remembers except him. Might be a little bit lonely to have such a mind and such a memory at times, but whenever I'm with him, I try to follow what he's on about. Joey Krafchick, on the other hand, has been moving around a lot. He works within, I guess, a couple of industries at the moment. He's just started a new job, a new day job, and he's back into Scrabble. He takes hiatuses pretty often from the game.
Yeah.
Both players extremely similar in terms of the speed at which they play and the confidence. But in terms of style, I think Joey Krafchick is a lot more of a defensive-minded player when it comes to closing down certain spots. Joey Mallick, I think, is more of a broad defensive player. He doesn't necessarily block things.
He just
same way.
chickened out of Tartar.
He did not just take a chicken out of tartar. He just. Are you kidding me? Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's a swing.
I cannot believe that. That has to have just been a miss.
He had it lined up in his rack earlier.
You're kidding. Did he? I don't think he could. There's no way. You think he chickened out? Or is it
Yeah.
just a situation where he didn't see TE? What?
I mean, that's more likely. He had it lined up in his rack. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
My goodness.
Um,
That is an absolutely.
he did end up setting his own Wardy up. I mean, Wardy's going to score almost a bingo. It's going to score, what is that, 56, but it's still a pretty, yeah. These things happen, I guess.
Oh, man. I mean, Joey's 2 games ahead of the field, Joey Mallick. But if he keeps missing stuff like this, I don't know if that's going to last the day.
Lasted yesterday, to be blunt.
Very, very surprising stuff. In any case, moving on, Wardy is such a huge score. Takes an S hook, does it not?
Yeah.
Wardy is valid, so Ward will be open for a comeback. But there was no need for a comeback necessarily if Tartar comes down. And Joey Krafchick maybe going to hammer that spot now with his X.
Yeah, I mean, he has Rex in that spot. I don't really know how to explain this. Like, sometimes I get this, like, feeling like there's this really obvious play, and it's just like, well, you know, I guess there isn't one. Well, there's, like, some way to set up to something, or there's some way to be clever. Like, Rex just, for me, feels wrong. I don't really know, like, how to articulate this very well. I don't know what else you could do, though.
Yeah, what else is there? I mean, you
Yeah.
kind of want to play through the E of Dementes as well at some point, maybe? Actually, that's not really a big deal. There's a J out, that's the biggest threat there, but if you're Joey Krafchick, you don't want to open anything new. Maybe he's going to look for something way more defensive, but with that Swarty hook out there and 1S remaining from his perspective, I feel like, I don't know, maybe you block it now, but maybe you just wait. Maybe it just gets blocked naturally. There's the Days hook. There's lots of spots for an S on this board.
Yeah, I think part of what was making me feel that way, and I'm starting to like move away from it, is that like the X looks really good, like on the surface. There's all these places that look like they almost take an X on it, but they don't. None of them actually do. You know, there's the Dementes thing. The E there is next to the X. You have Xeric on your rack. You almost have next parallel horizons. Like there's all these spots that look like they have things. And there's all these spots that also look like they have setup potential. But in reality, like when you look at it, it's an illusion. At least for me, it's an illusion. Like none of these spots actually exist.
Joey considering CERE on the bottom as well to keep the X, because again, it does look like the X could get good on this board. But yeah, the only problem with Rex for 44 is the leave and the setup that it makes on the top. If you play Rex at the bottom left, so many easy options for Joey Mallick to respond on the top for 30, 40, 50, even options that open another lane. So that's probably what Joey Krafchick does not want in this position, why he's hesitating to make such a high scoring play on the bottom left.
Yeah.
With
actually no.
Okay, wow. We're seeing a very bizarre choice of Etik. This is the sort of play Joey Krafchick makes. You think about it, and you kind of understand where he's coming from.
For what it's worth, this actually works out like really well for him. What would have ended up happening after Rex is Joey would have played EF, and then he would have kept the D for the DEF hook, and Joey could do absolutely nothing about that. Like that D hook would be hit next turn for like 40 at a minimum, maybe even worse. That it could easily turn into a bingo on a board where there really is nothing. So this play, like in terms of what actually ends up happening on the board and what Joey Mallick has, is actually worked out a lot better.
Yeah, it's a very big score sacrifice. As we see feed come down, there was also the option of FLECHE making DE going vertically, which would have scored much better than this.
Yeah.
But would have opened more triples. So this could have been a conscious choice. CHEL, a good leave. Now Joey much happier with the play of box. That was part of his idea. So if I draw an O instead of an E, those overlaps are not really going to happen that often.
Yeah,
So
you could see that
well.
he really cared about that by the speed at which he did that. Like he didn't want to play Rex because of, but there has to be a reason why he didn't want to play Rex. There were other options this play. He could play something like Coxa or Cokes, but he'd like instantly just said, nope, I'm taking box, because he just values it that much more, that this closes off the left side of the board for a while. Interesting decision. I'm not sure I would place the importance of that as high as Joey does, but I think that the reasoning is somewhat solid. I think that there is some value in closing the left side of the board in the way that Joey made the decision to do.
And he just wanted to delay it a turn and hopefully not get hit hard. As Chug coming down for Joey Mallick, narrowing the gap to 36. And judging by Joey Krafchick's rack of tiles, this next draw might be huge.
Yeah.
For the leader in the tournament. EAU coming down at lightning speed.
Right.
This is a perfectly reasonable play. Get rid of 3 vowels, score something.
Blocking the S hook of days, which is probably another big thing. Joey drawing Candela, which is going to be a huge swing here.
So had Joey missed the E going to the right of tasking earlier with Tartar, now he has another chance to play in that spot. Candela is his only bingo for 72. And it looks like he's spotted it, and he's now going to hopefully see if there's a spot for it on this board. And 72 points will bring him up by 30 or so against Joey Krafchick, who's drawn another consonant, but nothing fantastic. Here we go. Candela for 72, 332 for Joey Mallick, the leader in this tournament by 2 games. Joey Krafchick probably not thrilled seeing a natural bingo. There's still an S out. There's still a blank out. He would have.
You could see like that his pause when Joey. I know Joey Krafchick well enough to know when he pauses and stares like that, he is not happy. That is his "I am not happy" face. He's just like, okay, this has changed. This is not good. This is dumb. Is probably the way that he would put it. You see Seba right away. I imagine that has to be his best play. There are other plays that are comparable at a different score, or if he was still ahead, like BEE or I guess even BEEDI, but he doesn't want to leave that C open. So I think that this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, with the scores close, you can't be happy about a play like this, but you basically have to make it. Take a small lead, take a small stab, hope for a decent draw with consonants.
Yeah.
That blank still lurking, that S still lurking. Joey Mallick has not seen either. So he's probably in a similar situation of worrying, what's on my opponent's rack right now? What can I do in this position to give myself chances? But there is no blank and no S visible to anybody watching this stream. That means they are still most likely in the tile bag unless they somehow escaped.
Joey, not very far away from Viewpoint. VIEWPIT. Not a lot of great options, I think. You do want to actually be trying to be playing some tiles here, but it's actually pretty hard to do so. Like, I'm not seeing like some great, 5-tile play or something like that.
This is a situation where we're going to see board vision and play finding come into play, I think. There's one way for Joey Mallick to score 32 points here. And it might very well be his best option. And it's so off the beaten path. It keeps the V, keeps 2 eyes. But it might be what you do here. There's a very, very tough to spot place for his P
Oh yeah.
on top of the SI on the bottom right of the board, and he's found it. Look at that beautiful board vision. VIIE is not a good leave, but 32 points is a good score. And Joey Mallick
Yeah.
playing wept. Little does Joey Krafchick know, this is by far Joey's best score. I think he's going to shut the door as best he can now with something like yay or year to the left of the ANDE of Candela. And there's a third I for Joey Mallick and a second E. Things are looking very interesting. Whoever draws the blank will likely win this game, but the board might get very cramped after this next decision.
Yay is a very big like committal move here. If something like yay or year happens and Joey has like something that scores pretty well, let's say, I don't know, Janet, for example.
Whoa. Sorry, I just have to mention an insane possible play by Joey. I don't know if you've seen this, Kenji. From the Z and Horizons, Zooey
Oh yeah.
fits for 28, which is a much, much better leave and leaves the board open. Definitely not Joey's style, but wow, noetic possible on the board. Sorry, please continue your thought.
Yeah, no, I mean this is hugely committal. Zooey is less committal for sure, and it's a much better leave. There is a kind of concept in Scrabble and in a lot of games actually of first mover advantage, and when you give your opponent first crack at a bunch of lines like that, it often is very risky because if they hit it, you often just don't get anything back. Zooey would have been an interesting option. It's something that I would have definitely spent quite a while on thinking about. One of the drawbacks of playing as fast as both Joeys play is that it's much harder to find plays like that. You need to be able to like have time, at least I do, of being able to spot and look at the entire region of the board. Like the entire bottom of the board looks completely dead. So it's very hard to find plays unless you have a long time to look for them. Both players are very good at finding plays quickly, but in spending their time playing fast, it often does become more difficult. So in a spot like this, where Joey has 2 O's, for example, I think that he actually might find Zoo just because he knows now, like, oh, this isn't the time to be doing something like that. Let me see what my other options are. And then he'd look at the more closed regions of the board.
Yeah, there's a big benefit to the play of year if you could spot that insane insertion, making noetic. Because, yeah, Joey can just drop Zoo for 23 next turn. Joey Mallick, on the other hand, the terrible rack, looking in the bag, must not be happy with not only his position being down 10 points with this rack, but also with the timing aspect of things with a blank unseen, an S unseen, and 10 tiles in the bag.
He has Invade lined up. I mean, if he does that, it's probably not going to work out very well for him.
Wow. Yeah, the same letters score a lot better with Venine if you want to keep things closed, but Joey Mallick might feel the need to open the board at this point with such a poor rack. Ivied is 10 points to the D in feed, leaving much, much better. Just an E, an I, and an N, but is there really that much benefit? Looks like Invade coming down. This may be a purposeful choice instead of Venine, but it's actually going to potentially lose the game.
I can't imagine this is a purposeful choice. It would be very hard for me to believe. So Joey Mallick needs the blank now. If Joey Mallick does not draw the blank now, this game is over.
He could. If Isotone comes down now underneath the I and the N, and Joey Mallick can bingo out.
There's the blank.
There's the blank, and there's a P. Is that going to be good enough? Joey Mallick, you need a 7-letter word or an 8-letter word through an S. If you're Joey Krafchick, don't play this. What? Are you kidding me?
Why?
Why are you
Um,
opening more lines for Is this purposeful as well? What about isotone underneath, giving fewer lines? Maybe you don't want to float the S out there? Maybe this gives back less bingos, Kenji. Is that possible?
I'm struggling to find a reason to play this. That maybe there's less sevens because like the isotone forms IN, so you're giving back more sevens this way. I mean, that's probably true. I don't think that warrants the decision, but I think that's probably the benefit of this play is that SI takes a lot fewer hooks than IN does. So maybe that is a benefit of this play. Also, like if you get into a situation where Joey Mallick bingo's back, you do have some more options to score and maybe try to outrun. But I don't think that's a big. I mean, no, the bag's empty.
Wow. I mean, Joey Mallick is so close here to a bingo out, but he's not going to get it in this particular instance. So Joey Krafchick dodging a bullet with this choice. I have to look at the numbers because this seems very far out.
I don't think it's as big of a difference as. I mean, I do think that isotone is better. I don't think it's as big of a difference as you think it is, but you're also floating two O's here, which means that which at least takes away the duplication. I would guess that this is like maybe like, I don't know, something in the neighborhood of like 8% difference or something. It's not a huge deal. I mean, 8% is a lot. Don't get me wrong. That's my guess, and I could be wildly wrong.
We'll be running the numbers for you guys just to give an idea. After toonies, the opponent bingos just about as much as after isotone.
Oh, okay. It's not even that much
Maybe
fun.
this is a purposeful choice not to float an S, not to allow a lot of sevens to fit.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the sevens is the biggest deal by far.
It's made so quickly. I'm glad Joey hesitated, so I feel like maybe he was thinking about it in the end, but for a second, it felt like he was going to misstep horribly, but
Is
Joey
it really
Krafchick
tied?
now,
It surprises me it's tied.
it's very, 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 very close. Yeah.
I personally like. I'm the type of player who would be iterating this entire thing. Like Joey's decision making at this point is done. Like Joey's last decision this entire game is playing tunes or playing isotone. He has 14 minutes. You can do a lot in 14 minutes to like actually just figure out what that number is, like approximate it as best as you can. Like the fact that he made that decision so quickly is honestly to me astonishing. You basically what you do is you basically almost run a sim in your head, and you're just like, okay, these are the average draws. What happens, and you can make a decent decision based on that.
Yeah, so let's recalibrate ourselves. Joey Krafchick had the option of playing either toonies or isotone on the previous move. He had 16 minutes at the start of his turn to think about it. He almost immediately laid down toonies. Then he sat there for around a minute, possibly thinking about whether this was intuitively better or not. But Kenji, you're talking about, do you want to try and think about regular draws for Joey Mallick, regular racks that you're worried about, and trying to see if there's some possibility of this giving back less or more bingos, because that's what you're mainly worried about here. Joey Krafchick is up by 57 points here, so it would take a lot to lose to something other than a bingo. I don't even know if there's more than one or two scenarios where somehow Joey Mallick pulls out a win here without a bingo. But if that is possible at all, then toonies is probably a worse option. In any case, Joey Krafchick, an incredibly intuitive player, this was the opposite, I think, of an intuitive position, a position where you really need to think long and hard about real scenarios that could occur.
Yeah.
And Joey Krafchick talking to the crew there for some reason while Joey Mallick needs to think.
Being a
Joey has
tissue.
to sit there. He's asking for a tissue. Joey Mallick has to sit there and just hope that beyond hope, that he just finds something. Through the T in Toonies, through the N in Toonies, a 7-letter word he's somehow missing, anything. That's what he needs here. So he's going to spend all of his time trying to think through those scenarios.
Yeah, I think when you're in this scenario, you're running through different letters, and there's different ways of running through letters. First of all, you think of anything that's familiar. So, like, in theory, a Scrabble player might see something like hui pile, even though that's not a word, it's close to a word. But that wouldn't even play if it were a word. You look for letters like the N, the R, the S, even the Q. You kind of run through the alphabet per se, and then stop at letters that are more promising. So if you run through a letter, it's like, okay, C, so there's pulicide. D, there's also pulicide. And you look through these letters, and then you try to like permute all the realistic possibilities. You know that the blank is going to almost certainly be a consonant here. You might run through vowels just to eliminate that possibility, but you run through them very, very quickly. You stop at letters that are more promising.
Wow. All right.
Joey gave up
That is
very quickly and played utilize.
That's very confident of him. I'm actually in awe of that.
Okay.
I'm also in awe of the decision to play Toonies. How do you approximate something like that? According to a simulation, this was a 0.02 decrease or increase in bingo chances after Toonies versus isotone. So
I mean, it's ISO versus TON. It does make sense that it's actually kind of close. There's an N, there's duplicate N's in the pool.
Listen to the overhead, Michael. But we can talk more about this later.
Yeah.
471.
I got 430. Oh yeah.
Difference
No.
of 40. Difference of 44.
I had 407 before my last play.
Sorry, 364
Yeah.
and 22.
22 is 386.
I see. I can't read my writing. Okay. 407. So you got 409. You said 433.
Yeah.
So difference of 38.
Yeah. If I have anything,
I didn't see anything. So what did invade keep?
EII.
Figured you didn't have the blank there.
I drew it after. Yeah. I could have done Benin for a few more, but I don't know if I could hold on.
He saw that.
Yeah, I should have. But
That was a sweat.
I think I missed.
Always a sweat.
I think I missed a really easy bingo early, but
Oh
I
shoot.
might have been making it up.
What track? Rat?
Oh yeah, Tartare.
They played
Over there.
natural.
Yeah.
Let's see. What would I have had? If you play
Well, I was
Tartare.
debating Tartare. It doesn't take an S, so I was thinking, okay, this
Right.
is that like a plural of tartar? Tartar. Is that like? I looked at it and it looked just something didn't look right about it.
Hmm.
I mean,
I would have bingo back still, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, next turn was 50, so I mean, I kind of recovered from it. It almost kind of was a wash by the time everything else had happened after.
Yeah. Yeah, after you bingoed with Candela, didn't look so good. Siba left EER. So I was just kind of bailing on,
Yeah.
or banking on the bag, bailing me out.
I had a horrible EIIV with that too, so yeah. I was hoping you had more. It seemed like you were having vowel trouble, so I was hoping you had more of the eyes and stuff. Is there a reason this is better than isotone?
Yeah, I just think with the blank out, there's a lot more combos of sevens that are going to hit there with the IS as opposed to SI.
Oh, I see, yeah. I wasn't even looking at it that way.
So yeah, I'm giving you O's and a T versus an I and an S in space.
Pulis.
A little consideration to the end that you have to fit perfectly, but yeah, it's pretty close.
The only
and-
bingos are whip piles and pulicide. I saw both
Okay.
of them, so okay.
Right.
All right.
So yeah, I don't know. Toonies could be.
So it wasn't
wrong,
a
but-
it wasn't a B crust part 2 at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
some reason, I took a while on Candela too because I almost didn't trust myself on that. I thought it was just Canals maybe, but yeah.
All right, let's submit this. Let's see.
And I almost missed Horizons. I kind of singled out as I was playing it. It's like I was going to play Orzo.
Right.
That would have been a worse miss, but
Well, yeah, just try to gather your breath and relax.
Yeah.
You still got this. It's a 38 spread, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
It's almost like
So much to talk about, so much to think about in that one. Some very interesting conscious decisions by both players off the beaten path. Joey Krafchick taking this one against Joey for the second time on stream, but reassuring him, saying, you still got this. Take a deep breath. Maybe order some beef tartare while you're at it.
Something tells me that neither player is going to start eating beef tartare anytime soon.
So, with 2 rounds to go before the lunch break, got some interesting matchups going to develop for you all. This game finished with 20 total minutes to go on both clocks, which means most of the other rounds have probably not finished. So, with that being said, it's going to be a bit of a longer break than usual. That is what we have gotten ourselves into when we feature probably the 2 fastest players in the top division. But we will be back for round 24 of the NWL Scrabble Players Championship 2026. Before we go, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also go ahead and check out the co-stream on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel. youtube.com/@letsplayscrabble.com. CSW stream. We got world champion Wellington Giguere. We got Alex Seaholm, Josh Castellano, Charles Ranke, Austin Shin, who is in first place, probably still in first place at the start of day 4. Excuse me, we're already at day 4. But I'll stop rambling. Kenji Matsumoto will be with me for the next 2 games, so we will see you once the pairings are out and the players are seated and ready.